we actually have a page about best practices, and we kind of have two of them. One of them is really specifically targeted at businesses in terms of how to engage your fans, and a lot of the advice that we give to businesses actually applies to people, and it's basically, post stuff that the people, your audience, your friends, and in the case of most people, will actually be interested in hearing about you. And that's essentially it, is if you have something that you think might be interesting to people, feel free to post it, but make sure that you're sort of aware of what your audience is and what kind of things that they're interested in hearing about, and use the appropriate channels. We have a messages service that allows you to contact multiple friends at once, and if it's something that's very private with those people, use a message. If it's something where there's a group that might be interested in it, we have a group's product for that, right? So there are a variety of different ways that you can use Facebook to communicate with people, and if you use each of those tools for their intended purpose, you'll actually be a lot more effective in terms of reaching the audience that you want and having a positive interaction with your friends. I think people are pretty aware of audience when they're reading because they are the audience. And for me personally, there was a long period of time where I really had no awareness of my audience. So I would post things that would be of general interest to all of my friends, and then I would also post things that really would only be interesting to people who write code for a living, right? Which is a pretty small subset of my total friend list, right? And I'd post those things, and at a certain point I realized that about half of the people on my friend list really don't care about the latest Emacs macro that I just discovered, or whatever it happens to be. So, so I think for some people that awareness probably comes over time. It certainly did for me. But that's something I think as a piece of advice that I would give to people that they might not necessarily be thinking about it is, think about your audience, don't be intimidated by it, but just be aware that if you're posting something that the broad audience isn't interested in, and it's a much smaller set, then we have tools that allow you to kind of refine your audience for that piece of content.